Let's talk about adjoining developments for a second. So I suppose for us what that means is when you're in a building and you've got something going up next door. So it might be strata, might be commercial, doesn't really matter, but what you're going to have is disturbance. So it's not uncommon for the owner of the adjoining construction site to need something from the body corporate on the way through. That might be simply access to swing a crane over the building. It might be to install rock anchors under your building to make sure that theirs stays up while it's along the way. They might actually need access to part of your common property for a particular period of time to allow them to construct what they need to construct. There's a lot of things that can happen with these things, and I suppose the reality is, from a not in my backyard perspective, the courts will generally not allow someone to refuse access for those purposes when a construction's taking place. So the reality is that from a body corporate side of things, you are far better negotiating with the developers to negotiate an outcome that protects everyone. So what type of crane is it going to be? What's the swing plane that it's going to be? What's the area of property that we're talking about? And what are the disturbance costs for that? The body corporate's certainly entitled to be paid in exchange for giving up its rights. What about dilapidation reports? What's the building look like when it starts and when it finishes? Is the developer going to have to wash down the building? Because inevitably a side issue with construction is dirt and dust. One of the difficulties is that you can't really control amenity, but you can control things like risk to a degree. So that can be by way of getting some sort of cash bond from the developer or a bank guarantee, or evidence that they're insured in relation to the risk that they're going to expose you to. And then there's also potentially disturbance to individual commercial lots and things like that that might need to be negotiated by those individual owners. So in one of these things, there are a lot of moving parts, and it really does depend to a degree on what the developer needs from the body corporate and where the body corporate's actually sitting in terms of its particular style, I suppose you would say. Is it commercial or is it residential? But either way, whatever is agreed should be documented, should be locked down, and should be approved at general meeting. Because if the body corporate's going to give away rights in relation to common property, that's a restricted issue from a committee perspective, which needs the approval of all owners. So we've negotiated our way through dozens of these over the last couple of years. So if you need any help with one, just reach out.